Celest!
What's up?
The temperature.
How you doing?
Good. Keep playing. Thank you. Roberta Smith visiting the Derek Eller gallery to see a Karl Wirsum show. Well, we'll start here. We saw another version of this at the other show, Matthew Marks. This is titled Gargoyle Gargle Oil, 1969, on a mirrored medicine cabinet. We had some people who were commenting on how wonderfully these have been maintained and how they really have held up well. This is eye adjustment, 1963 to 2020. We're going to call this part 2. Well, we went in and saw the other version of Matthew Marks, and we saw a version of this particular painting. This is called Tongue-Tied. This is a drawing. It's a colored pencil on paper, and I would estimate that that is 14 by 11. This is untitled. Study for Memory Mass, 1964. I think this might be one of the older pieces in the show. Sculpture number 4, 1968, acrylic on paper mache, 12 by 10. Well, I was just pedaling around. I saw the other show at Matthew Marks, and I went in and did that show, but I didn't know that they were having a second part over here. This is titled Untitled Study for Blue Tattoo, 1964. Okay, so I was about 12 or 13. I would have liked that. Untitled Study for Mr. Payne. Closeman, the Plainclothes Man, 1964. You know, I'm looking at this and kind of thinking that it's almost like a precursor for the style that the Beatles used when they did the Yellow Submarine cartoon. Oh boy, we'll take a sweep around the main gallery. I think Derek has done a great job of squeezing in a lot of work. Blue Tattoo, 1964. This is acrylic on canvas, 40 by 24 inches. Okay, I'm looking at this and wondering if that's a metallic silver there. I don't know. Well, I said how much I appreciated the Harry Who's because they were kind of in the resistance against the East Coast, New York hegemony of, I guess at this point, pop art, and maybe some of the early rumblings of minimalism and conceptualism. It's titled Miss Pony. But you can see there's kind of a pop art influence. Memory Mask. Okay, I get it. We've got this little kind of a sadomasochistic structure that pulls up the cheeks on the lady here. Maybe she's getting some dental work done. Great color things. The Odd Awning Odd in 1966. And again, we're getting into our wordplay. Yes, Karl had a very pristine, very nice, very clean style. And I guess this is the last day of this show, so I'm just lucky I happened to pop in here. I was intending to do some other things in Chelsea. This is Untitled 1970 acrylic on canvas, 36 by 24. Well, I was talking about how much I enjoyed the Harry Who people, and I think when you see something like this, you can also see there was an influence from some of the psychedelic poster artists from the Bay Area. And I'm thinking about people like Victor Moscoso, Stanley Mouse, Rick Griffin, and some of those people. But I think Karl has a real nice, unique take on that kind of stuff. This is Doggerel 3, 1967, acrylic on canvas, 38 by 36. And I'm looking at this and thinking this could have been painted yesterday. Okay, so 67, gosh, that's like 50 some odd years ago. Also, a very wonderful palette. Oh, this is punchy. Showgirl, 1969, acrylic on canvas, 34 by 24. I was talking about how I appreciate the Harry Who coming out as sort of a antithesis of the New York school, and well, one of the aspects of that is the scale, the size. So, gosh, this painting is very powerful, and it's not huge. They don't have to make paintings that are 12 by 18 feet to get the message across. Great Skates 3, 1976. It's acrylic on board with painted wood frame. And I guess there were even a bunch of people in New York that were kind of fans of the Harry Who people. I think I might have started seeing some of the work at a place called the Alan Frumkin Gallery on 57th Street, back when I was going to school up there at the Art Students League. Okay, and here's some more of the... I would actually call this kind of sculptural, but it is flat, but he's sculpted the edges on this. Pumpkin Girl, I was going to say, does look a bit like a jack-o'-lantern. This is 1976, acrylic on wood, 11 by 16 inches. Okay, here is something that's more of a limited palette. Also, yes, take note of this. I don't call that a vermilion red wall. It's going to take a lot of white paint to cover that over. Mr. Dry Iced Tea, 1987. Okay, I assume that he probably might have been aware of some of the rap stuff going on, so iced tea might have been on his radar. Okay, I think we saw the sculptural version of this piece at the other gallery. High watermark, what's the point? Was the point, W-H-A-Z, the point. It's 1988. Okay, now we know why they painted the walls red. I was also talking about the fact that the Harry Who people had been influenced a lot by outsider art, and this shares a lot of the qualities that outsider art would have. One of them is the symmetry. Some of the other pieces they've got, Karl has put a lot of text and things in there, so that's another thing that sometimes the outsiders do. It's very kind of tight style of painting. Also manifest in some of the outsiders, especially some of the people that are in institutions. They got a lot of time on their hands. I heard the word from the bird, and it's absurd. Yeah. These guys are poets, and they know it's... Okay, again, another plywood sculpted piece. This is kind of floating off the wall an inch or so, so you can get the interplay with the shadows. Okay, I like that. So I've got the bird, and then we've got the lady with the bird mask. It's a great yellow. Fat Snowball's Chance, 2013 acrylic on canvas with painted wood frame, 39 by 53. Well, I was talking about the use of space and comparing it to the scale of the New York painting, or at least the New York School's version of painting. And I don't think that Karl does a lot of paintings that are much larger than this. talking about maybe 4 by 5 feet, something like that. It's 2013. This is titled All Puffed Up. 1970, acrylic on paper mache laid on wood table. Okay, that, yeah, the wood table is nice, except that's from the real world and it's getting a little dinged up here, but I guess that's part of the nature of combining the artistic versus the quotidian. This is 42 by 21 by 19. 1970. I can see they're actually using nice kind of aged patina that's going on with the sculptural work, the acrylic over the paper mache. Okay, we'll see if we can get in the back gallery. Okay, we'll see if we can squeeze this in the frame. Your Call Cannonball 2011. Acrylic on panel with painted wood frame. Hey, I am always amazed with Karl's kind of twisted imagery and how he's able to, well, like use faces, but each one gets twisted a little differently. Everything gets little additional things. I like the spiraling tooth lines. Okay, yeah, it's the last day, the last hour and a half of the show. It's very popular. Melon Balls Jr. 1988 acrylic on canvas with painted wood frame. Okay, I was noticing, this is kind of interesting, that there's another painting we've got that's got the brilliant yellow ground, and I know that, as we've seen with the other show, a lot of his late works use this kind of coloristic format a lot. Okay, so it looks like we got a little baby with a pacifier in the mouth. Gosh, I wonder if Karl was a grandfather. It's always an interesting question. It'll be a portrait of a baby. Okay, that was an interesting fact. This is the most work Karl's had in New York at one time. Since starting out in 1963, that's good. Hollow Swallow. And Karl probably kept little notebooks of his punny rhymes and things and pulled them out when he had to title the work. 2010. So we've got our weird hand. Okay, here's the last piece. This is Waiting for a Water Buffalo. Acrylic on canvas 57 by 38. This is 2010. Okay. That's another busy work. Also, Karl has gone in and done some tiny little surface patterning on some of this. That's fun. Waiting for a water buffalo. We see the character with the, looks like a drink. In there. James Kalm reporting on Karl Wirsum, eye adjustments, 1966 to 2020, part 2. Brooklyn.
I want it to look more like this right here. You know, where you get
Mira Schor, Wet, at Lyles and Kalm. This is a thematic survey of paintings, drawings, and sculpture spanning from 1973 to the present. The works in this exhibition foreground existential and corporal themes, use abstraction, landscape, and figure to, in Schor's words, bring the experience of living inside a female body with a mind in high art in an intact form as possible. The show's title, Wet, borrows from the artist's 1997 iconic book of essays. Her defense of the medium against the 1990s critique of essentialism and a male bastion of art critics. Her insistence on the goo of both oil paint and the female body. Varied in approach, the works in this show share a directness of imagery and the written word, and an insistence on the formal as a way to deconstruct cultural and personal histories. Masks and Dresses, made in 1977, are some of Schor's early experiments with rice paper, a material she felt transmitted the delicacy and the vulnerability she inhabited being a woman. These works emerged following her participation in the feminist art program at Cal Arts in 1971 to 73, where she studied with Judy Chicago and Miriam Shapiro. But she also encountered fluxus and conceptual approaches from the artists such as Alan Capro and Alison Knowles, who presented her with the new models for uniting language, concept, and image. Despite her deep involvement in feminist thinking, Schor found herself attracted to the nuanced and anti-heroic nature of the fluxists. These material impulses were further developed in the 4 years she spent teaching at the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, where she was, notably, at 24 years old, the only woman on a 14-person fine art faculty. Starting in Halifax and later in New York, she began folding, tearing, creasing rice paper to make her nearly life-size dress shapes and masks. The dresses are narrow, pared down, asymmetrical, iconic. The masks are simplified with frayed edges, almond-shaped holes at the eyes, and pointed chins. All are rubbed with dry pigment and medium, grays, greens, metallic browns, a muted palette suggesting historic artifacts rather than feminized objects of decoration. Schor's dresses and masks are double-sided. layered pages upon like a book, or flip outward like a veil, revealing diary entries or dreams written in a distinctive cursive. In this way, they present a multidimensional perspective. Schor worked exclusively on paper until 1985, and this show highlights the multiplicity of her drawing practice. Her drawings are driven by a complex base of art influences and modes of inquiry. Defining herself as a painter who is a conceptual artist, and as a painter at the heart of whose work is sculpture, her approach differs from those of her CalArts peers and friends of the time who aligned more with the pictures generation. Oil paintings from the late 1980s and early 1990s demonstrate Schor's ability to merge representation of the body and text paintings with political references. Schor began making dick paintings in the height of the AIDS crisis, responding to the conservatism of the time. She transformed her line work into bodily fluid or phrases. Her female figures or self-portraits became faceless silhouettes or disembodied parts. Landscape forms breasts or phallus. Schor made Pardon Me, Miss in 1990 as a response to the U.S. invasion of Panama. The nonchalance of the events, NPR reported, struck with her. In it, she heard an unquestioned acceptance of American hegemony and patriarchal might. Well, we're here on Stanton Street, and we're going to run in here to the new J.J. Murphy Gallery and take a look at an exhibition by Farrell Brickhouse. Okay, well, Farrell Brickhouse is one of our longtime painter buddies. We've been seeing him for many years, and I know that he had at least one show at Michael David Life on Mars at 56 Bogart Street. We're going to start out looking at this. This is a little deeper down, 2024. We may not have time to give you the titles of all these because there's a lot of work in the show. And these folks need to get to Brooklyn at some point. Okay, this is titled Night Gardener 2023. This is oil glitter on canvas. Well, Nancy was asking me if I knew about Farrell's work, and I didn't have a chance to tell her, but I saw Farrell's work, I think, for the first time at Max Protect Gallery on 57th Street in 1979 or 80. It's titled Big Fish. And, well, I was impressed with his work. At the time, he was doing a lot of stuff that had kind of constructions and weird ways of presenting the paintings and things chopped away or added in. A top. Okay. Anyway, Farrell's painting stuck with me, and I usually, when I have someone that sticks in my brain like that, I have a tendency to want to follow them over a long period of time. So this is Expulsion 3, 2021. And this is glitter and oil on canvas. I think one of the things that Farrell has started doing, well, maybe in the last 8 or 10 years, is using glitter and some other kinds of things. Like this has got metallic paint in it. It's titled Offering 2, 2022 oil on canvas, 16 by 12. I think one of the things that a lot of people like about Farrell's work is that he's very interested in the facture, in the surface, in the layering of the paint. And I assume that a lot of these probably he works on for months, maybe years.
Yeah, a long time.
This is titled Offering 1. Also, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I am, is that copper paint on some of that?
Collage.
It's collage.
Not mostly paint though.
Mostly paint, but this collage.
Yeah, but metallic paints too.
Dress Rehearsal 2, oil metallic pigments on canvas. As I was saying, so I've been watching his work for a long time, and I think the initial work that I saw, he was basically an abstract painter, and so one of the fun things has been to watch him kind of transition back to more figurative work, expressionistic figurative work over time. It's titled Study Yellow Bird, oil on canvas. Rescue, okay. This has got a red dot, so that's always nice. But this, I think he's maybe even using some pearlescence or some other stuff in there. This kind of shows his painting surface. We've got the figure of the 3 ladies. I don't know, are they holding a fish? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
holding a big shark. Okay. And so not only is he going back to figurative work, but he's also got some pretty, what could I say, goofy subject matter with the figures doing interesting things.
And that one has maple seed pods in it.
Well, you were saying that he's moved upstate somewhere around Hudson, New York, so I'm sure he's probably spending some time out walking around in the forests and picking up things. Okay, so we were just talking about this Summer's End 2, 2023 oil on canvas panel. We were talking about waste paint. I guess maybe about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, we went and saw a Phil Allen show, and Phil is a wonderful painter from London who teaches at, and I guess is on the board of directors at an art school there called Terps. And one of the things that Phil has been doing for many years is using waste paint or big globs of paint to make kind of framing devices in the paintings, and so that kind of relates to that a little bit. This is offering for 2022 oil on canvas. You know, in certain ways I'm thinking that some of this makes me think of Jean Dubuffet and some of his, I think he called them terra figures, or some of his other primitive things. But strangely also, some of this makes me think of early Picasso. That one we just looked at makes me think of a Picasso from the Blue Period. This is Gift of Sight 1, oil on canvas 10 by 8.
Gift of Flight.
Gift of Flight. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, okay.
That's New Bather.
New Bather 2023, oil and glitter on canvas. So he's talking about some of the new things that he's been using. The glitter is a big thing. And there was a point probably, say 20 years ago, where glitter was very gauche. And there were a few people that started to get in and explore it in a deep way. And one of them was Chris Martin. I'm sure Farrell and Chris probably know each other and know each other's works. Although I have to say that Farrell uses it in a more organic way. In certain ways, Chris kind of pours out a gallon of glue and then pours 5 pounds of glitter in there, and you got a whole different thing. I think Farrell actually uses it in such a way that it almost looks like it's some kind of a mineral deposit showing somehow from the ground of the paint. Okay, this is Big Fish 3. Okay, now I see that. We've got some ducks swimming over the top. I do see the fish. My only problem is none of these are trout. I'm looking for a trout that's that big. Is that tied tree huggers?
Yes.
Okay, so again, we get the glitter in there. Also, I like to see that Farrell is using a fairly modest scale, an intimate scale. I was actually thinking this would be like a Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden somehow. A study to the river. 2021 oil and canvas, 18 by 14. Well, as I was saying, the scale is intimate, and I know that we've been going to some shows lately where people like Dana Schutz and some other artists are doing paintings, and they feel like everything has got to be at least 8 by 12 feet or something, Joe Bradley, or it's not serious. But I think people that are working like Farrell kind of show that you can impact a smaller surface with a lot of interesting stuff, ideas, paint, materials, time.
It's called Tiptoe Spring.
Okay, Tiptoe Spring, and we're going to wrap up looking at this one. Tell me what the title is, JJ.
It's Study Odalisque in a Tub.
Study Odalisque in a Tub.
2022.
2020. Okay, so whenever we see somebody, an odalisque in a tub, who do we think of? Any answers?
Me?
Bonnard. I think he did an entire series of bathers in tubs. Well, we have arranged for a on-the-spot interview with J.J. Murphy at his new gallery that just coincidentally happens to be J.J. Murphy too. And this is on Stanton Street. What is the number?
53 Stanton.
53 Stanton Street. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a gallerist. What attracted you to the art business, or whatever you would call it, here in New York?
Well, I think it
briefly?
I think it came out of writing about art.
Yes.
Instagram. At
Dag Central, is that your tag?
Yes, at Dag Central.
And you've been doing that for how long? Several years, right?
At least probably 3.5 years now.
And you write little reviews. Some of them are not so little. You got like 1,000 words in there. Some
No, I basically 300.
Three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's 313 for some reason. I don't know why. That's what it comes out to be.
And from that, you sort of decided that you wanted to be more engaged in the painting scene or the art scene?
Well, I think that the gallery grew out of writing about art on Instagram, and in the sense it's curatorial. It's just an extension of my writing about art, and in a way, it's sort of accidental that Nancy and I opened the gallery.
Yes, and Nancy's also a painter.
Nancy's a painter. I'm not a painter. I'm a film person. I'm a filmmaker and film scholar.
But you like to tell stories, right?
I do like to tell stories, and I've always loved painting and art, so I followed it my whole life.
What made you decide that you want to be down here on the Lower East Side?
Well, I love this location. I love the Lower East Side, and when I found out that the space was available, we really weren't planning to have a gallery, but it just became an opportunity, and the stars seemed to align in a certain way, and here I am. Or here we are.
Yes. Do you think you have like a particular aesthetic that you're going to try to promote with your program here?
Well, I think all the shows so far have been different. So we started out with an abstract show by David Horning. We did a more historical show in our second exhibition, which was Jack Tworkov.
Jack
Tworkov, his sister Janice Biala, her husband Daniel Brustlein, Hermine Ford.
Is Jason Andrew involved in that? Yes, we like Jason. We love Jason.
Yeah, so Hermine Ford is Jack Tworkov's daughter, and her husband was Robert Moskowitz.
That's right, who just passed away last week.
Yes, which was just heartbreaking. But so we just had that show, and then this is our third show, Farrell Brickhouse. Our next show is Dasha Shishkin.
But it seems to be most of these people are serious painters, right?
Pretty much painters.
I mean, but there's a chance maybe you'd open up for something else, sculpture, fiber, ceramics.
I think we're open. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dasha Shishkin does something different, so she's going to do an installation.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. So anyway, so the gallery was kind of a secret for a while because we didn't have a lease on the space. So
it's kind of like little pop-up shows then.
Well, we couldn't tell anybody, including the artists who we were arranging shows with about.
That's what I need, people to come in and give me shows and not tell me about it.
Well, we just couldn't tell them the location or who else was going to be in the gallery. That was the secret.
It's like you get a note slid under your door and then in 10 minutes you have to be there or the show doesn't happen or something.
Well, no, I mean, we arranged a year of shows.
Okay.
So we programmed a year.
Before you could say where you were having the shows at.
Or that we definitely had the space, because we did not have a lease on the space.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting experience. But the artists were very game, so that was nice.
Okay, a lot of fun. Anyway, we're going to go in and look at the rest of the show. Thanks for chatting with us, JJ, and good luck.
Thank you so much,
All right,
Lauren.
JJ Murphy, thanks. So this has been a look at Farrell Brickhouse. Does the show have a title?
Yes, Looking Back at Tomorrow.
Looking Back at Tomorrow here at the JJ Murphy Gallery. Thanks, JJ. You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites. You can talk about it at your next opening. And you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below, and your suggestions. And you can subscribe. And we only ask for one thing, and that is that you say, thank you, Kate. Made it. Thank you, Jimi Celest.
Oh, thank you very much.